Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Enjoy English with Nora and Liam. I'm Liam.
And I'm Nora. We're so happy you're here today. If you're learning English and want to speak naturally in everyday situations, you're in the right place.
Let me ask you a question. Imagine it's Monday morning. You arrive at work, or maybe you're at school. A classmate smiles and asks, "Hey, how was your weekend?" You understand every word, but suddenly, your mind goes completely blank.
Maybe you answer, "It was good." And then, silence. The conversation ends right there. Has that ever happened to you? Don't worry, you're definitely not alone.
Many English learners think they need an exciting story. Maybe they think, I didn't travel. I didn't go to a party. I just stayed home. So I have nothing to say. But that's not true at all.
Exactly. Most people don't have an amazing adventure every weekend. Most weekends are actually very simple. Maybe you cleaned your room. Maybe you watched a movie. Maybe you cooked dinner. Maybe you visited your parents. Maybe you slept a little longer. And guess what? Those are perfect things to talk about in English.
That's because conversations aren't about having the most exciting life. They're about connecting with people. When someone asks, "How was your weekend?" they aren't expecting a famous story. They're simply being friendly. They want to start a conversation.
And today, we're going to help you answer that question with confidence. By the end of this lesson, you'll know exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to keep the conversation going naturally.
Let's start with the easiest answers. Imagine someone asks, "How was your weekend?" Instead of saying only, "Good," you can say, "It was really nice," or "It was pretty relaxing." Or you can say, "I had a great weekend." These answers are simple, they're natural, and they sound much more friendly.
Let's practice together. I'll ask the question, you answer after speaker one. Ready? How was your weekend?
It was really nice.
Very good. Let's try another one. How was your weekend?
I had a great weekend.
Excellent. One more. How was your weekend?
It was pretty relaxing.
Great job. The more you repeat these simple sentences, the more natural they'll become.
Here's another important tip. You don't have to speak fast. Native speakers don't always speak quickly. They speak clearly, so don't worry about speed. Focus on speaking one sentence at a time. Confidence grows with practice, not with perfection.
Exactly. Even one simple sentence can start a wonderful conversation. And once you learn a few useful expressions, talking about your weekend becomes much easier.
So, now that you know how to give a simple answer, let's learn how to describe a relaxing weekend naturally. You'll discover useful expressions that native speakers use all the time. Let's get started. Now, let's talk about a relaxing weekend. Many people think, my weekend wasn't exciting. I just stayed home. But that's actually great because staying home is something almost everyone does, and it's very easy to talk about in English.
That's right. You don't need a big adventure. Simple weekends create the best conversations. Let's imagine someone asks you, "What did you do this weekend?" Instead of saying, "Nothing," you can say, "I stayed home and relaxed." That's already a complete answer.
Here are a few more natural examples. I watched a movie. I read a good book. I listened to music. I cooked dinner. I cleaned my apartment. I slept in on Sunday. Notice something? Every sentence is short, simple, and useful.
Now, let's make these sentences sound even more natural. Instead of saying, "I stayed home," you can say, "I stayed home and took it easy." Took it easy means you relaxed, you didn't work too hard, you enjoyed a peaceful day. It's a very common English expression.
Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I stayed home and took it easy. Excellent. Again, I stayed home and took it easy. Perfect.
Here's another useful expression. I caught up on some sleep. Maybe you worked hard all week. Maybe you woke up early every morning. Then, on Saturday, you finally slept longer. That's called catching up on sleep.
Listen to this example. I caught up on some sleep and felt much better. One more. I spent most of the weekend catching up on sleep. These sentences sound very natural. Native speakers use them all the time.
What if you watched your favorite TV show? You can say, I caught up on my favorite TV series. Or, I finally finished a series I've been watching. These are wonderful expressions for everyday conversations.
Now, let's learn another useful phrase. I spent time with my family. Very simple, very natural. Maybe your parents visited you. Maybe you visited your grandparents. Maybe everyone had dinner together. You can simply say, I spent time with my family.
Or maybe you stayed home with your children or your brothers and sisters. You can also say, we had dinner together. We watched a movie together. We played some games together. These little details make your story more interesting.
Now, let's do a short conversation. Listen carefully.
Hey, how was your weekend?
It was really relaxing. I stayed home and took it easy. I caught up on some sleep. Then I watched a movie with my family. It was a great weekend.
That sounds wonderful. Sometimes relaxing weekends are the best weekends.
Exactly. I felt refreshed on Monday morning.
Great answer. Notice, nobody used difficult words. Nobody spoke quickly, but the conversation sounded friendly, natural, and confident.
Remember, when you talk about your weekend, don't try to impress people. Just tell the truth. Simple English is beautiful English. And now let's learn how to talk about busy weekends, because sometimes we don't relax at all. Now, let's talk about busy weekends. Not every weekend is quiet. Sometimes you wake up early on Saturday, and before you know it, your whole weekend is full of activities. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh, definitely. Sometimes I make so many plans. I visit my family, I meet my friends, I go shopping, I clean the house. By Sunday night, I'm actually ready to go back to work just to get some rest.
I know that feeling. When someone asks, how was your weekend? You don't have to explain every little detail. You can simply say, I had a busy weekend, or my weekend was pretty busy. Those are very natural answers.
Then, you can add one or two details. For example, I went shopping on Saturday. I visited my grandparents. I met some friends for lunch. I had a family dinner on Sunday. That's all you need. Simple sentences create great conversations.
Let's learn another useful expression. I got a lot done. This means you finished many things. Maybe you cleaned your house, maybe you washed your clothes, maybe you organized your room, maybe you finished some work. You can simply say, I got a lot done this weekend.
Listen to this example. My weekend was busy, but I got a lot done. One more. I finally cleaned my apartment and organized my desk. Now, your answer sounds much more interesting.
Here's another expression. I went out with some friends. Very common, very natural. Maybe you had dinner together, maybe you watched a movie, maybe you walked around the city. Native speakers use this expression all the time.
You can also say, we had coffee together. We tried a new restaurant. We walked around the shopping mall. We spent the afternoon together. Notice you don't need difficult vocabulary. Just describe what really happened.
Now, let's practice a conversation. Listen carefully.
Hey, how was your weekend?
It was pretty busy. I went shopping on Saturday morning. Then I met a couple of friends for lunch. On Sunday, I visited my parents. I got home late, but I had a wonderful time.
That sounds like a great weekend. Were you tired on Monday?
A little, but it was worth it. I really enjoyed spending time with everyone.
That's a fantastic answer. See, you only shared a few simple details, but your story felt complete.
Exactly. When you answer questions in English, don't try to speak for 5 minutes. Just answer the question, then add one or two details. That's enough to keep the conversation going naturally.
And here's one more tip. After you answer, don't forget to ask the other person about their weekend. You can simply say, how about you? Or what did you do this weekend? Or did you have a good weekend? This keeps the conversation friendly and it shows you're interested in the other person.
Now that you know how to talk about both relaxing and busy weekends, Let's put everything together. In the next conversation, you'll hear a real Monday morning dialogue. You'll learn how native speakers keep a conversation flowing naturally from beginning to end.
All right, now it's time to hear everything in a real conversation. Imagine it's Monday morning. Two coworkers meet in the office kitchen. They're making coffee before work. Let's listen.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing really well. How about you?
I'm great, thanks. So, how was your weekend?
It was fantastic. I had a nice balance between relaxing and staying busy. On Saturday morning, I slept in because I was really tired after a busy week. Then I made a big breakfast and watched one of my favorite movies. It was exactly what I needed.
That sounds wonderful. Sometimes a quiet Saturday is the best way to recharge. What about Sunday?
Sunday was much busier. I met two friends for lunch at a new restaurant. After lunch, we walked around the city for a while. The weather was beautiful, so we stayed outside for a few hours. Later that evening, I visited my parents before going home. It was a busy day, but I really enjoyed it. How about you? How was your weekend?
Mine was pretty relaxing. I stayed home for most of the weekend. I finally finished a book that I'd been reading for weeks. Then I cooked dinner with my sister. On Sunday afternoon, we watched the comedy movie together. We laughed so much. It was a simple weekend, but it made me feel happy.
That sounds like a perfect weekend. Sometimes the simple moments are the most enjoyable.
I completely agree. Not every weekend needs to be exciting. The important thing is spending your time in a way that makes you happy.
Exactly. And now we're both ready for a new week.
Absolutely. I hope this week is a good one.
Me too. Now, let's review today's most useful expressions together.
Great idea. Our first expression is, I had a great weekend. This is one of the easiest and most natural answers.
Next, I stayed home and relaxed. Perfect when you had a quiet weekend.
Another useful sentence is, I got a lot done. Use it when you finished many tasks.
You can also say, I spent time with my family, or I met some friends. These are everyday expressions that native speakers use all the time.
And don't forget these simple questions. How about you? What did you do this weekend? Did you have a good weekend? These questions help you continue the conversation naturally.
Now it's your turn. Think about your own weekend. Don't worry about using perfect English. Just answer these three simple questions. What did you do? Who did you spend time with? And how did you feel? Take a moment, answer out loud. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become.
Remember, every conversation is a chance to improve your English. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need difficult words. You just need to speak. One sentence at a time, every day.
We hope today's lesson helped you feel more confident talking about your weekend in English. Keep practicing these expressions throughout the week. Soon, they'll become completely natural.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. And our next lesson, we're going to learn how to talk about your daily routine in English using simple, natural conversations that you can use every day. So make sure you join us again. Until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep enjoying your English journey. Bye, everyone.
Take care. We'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.